All right, get ready for an epic journey. We're going to follow a single atom, an atom that, believe it or not, is part of you right now. But it was also once floating in the air, and someday it'll be deep in the ground beneath your feet. This is the hidden, incredible story of the carbon cycle.
Okay, so let's kick things off with a bit of a puzzle. Think about this. A brilliant, sparkling diamond, the very air you're breathing in right this second, and, well, you. What on earth could possibly connect those three things? They seem totally different, right?
The answer? It's carbon. It's the essential, fundamental building block for, well, pretty much all life as we know it. And this isn't some abstract thing you see on a periodic table. No, it is literally what makes you, you.
So let's really dive into that personal connection because it's pretty amazing. Our first section, the element of you. We're going to see how this massive, planetary story is actually happening inside of you, right now.
Think of carbon as the ultimate world traveler. I mean, we find this stuff everywhere. It's in every single living thing. It's floating around in the atmosphere as carbon dioxide. It's locked away deep underground in fossil fuels. And it's even part of the rocks that make up our planet.
You know, because carbon is so absolutely critical for life, the Earth literally can't afford to just use it once and throw it away. So the planet has this amazing built-in recycling system just for carbon. It's a lot like your recycling bin at home, really, just on a massive planetary scale where absolutely nothing goes to waste.
All right, so let's actually map this journey out. If we're going to follow our little carbon atom, we first need to understand the world it travels through. You know, the main hubs and storage depots on its trip.
Okay, so the entire journey basically happens across four huge interconnected systems. You've got the atmosphere, that's all the air, the biosphere, that's all of us, all the living things. Then there's the hydrosphere, which is all the water on Earth. And finally, the geosphere, the solid stuff, the rocks and the soil. The carbon cycle is really just the story of an atom bouncing between these four zones over and over again.
Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting. This whole cycle, it actually has two different speeds. So first, let's jump into the fast lane, the fast cycle of life.
So this is the part of the cycle that you're involved in every single day. First up, absorption. Plants literally breathe in carbon dioxide from the air to make their food. Step 2 is consumption. Animals, and yeah, that includes us, eat those plants. Number 3, respiration. We all breathe, right? And when we breathe out, we release CO2 back into the air. And finally, step 4, decomposition. When living things die, that carbon goes back into the soil and the air. See, it's this super rapid, constant exchange.
So the cycle we just walked through, the one with plants and animals, that's the fast one. We're talking timescales of days or maybe a few centuries. But there's another cycle happening in the background, operating on a completely different clock. This is the slow cycle. And when I say slow, I mean it can take millions of years to complete just one loop.
So yeah, let's dive into that. Welcome to the deep slow cycle. This is where time isn't measured in days or years, but on a geological scale.
Now, a huge player in this slow cycle is the ocean. I mean, it is just a massive, deep reservoir for carbon. Get this, it stores more than 50 times the amount of carbon that's in our entire atmosphere. 50 times! That's just incredible.
So how does this whole slow cycle actually work? Well, some of the carbon dioxide from the air just dissolves straight into the seawater. Simple enough? But some of it goes on a much, much longer journey. It gets taken up by marine life, and then eventually it gets locked away into rocks like limestone. And when that happens, that carbon can be stored for eons. I'm talking millions of years, completely taken out of the fast active cycle.
Okay, so we've covered the fast cycle and the super slow cycle. But what's the big deal? Why does any of this actually matter? Well, let's zoom out a bit and talk about Earth's essential balance.
See, the carbon cycle isn't just some neat little scientific process. It is absolutely vital to our existence. For one, by moving all this carbon around, it helps regulate the entire planet's temperature. It also provides the actual, literal building blocks for life, for DNA. And maybe most importantly, it's the master thread that connects all of Earth's systems, the air, all of life, the water, and the rocks, tying them all together.
So, the most important takeaway here is this. When the carbon cycle is in balance, when the amount of carbon moving between all those spheres is pretty consistent, it keeps our whole planet stable and, livable. It's a really beautifully regulated system.
And that really brings us to our final thought here. This elegant, two-speed cycle is what created a stable planet for eons, allowing complex life like us to even exist in the first place. Which leaves us with one really critical question to think about. What happens when that delicate balance gets disturbed?